Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination Reading for the sign of Pisces. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. And that's exactly what we're going to be taking a look at today, Pisces, in this reading. We're going to be looking at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time. We're then going to be we're going to dive a little deeper into that area in your life experience. We'll look at a block or a challenge that's coming in around that area of focus. We'll look at advice from spirit as to how to overcome it. And then we're going to be looking at a level of abundance or spiritual growth that wants to come in on the other side for you. Now, I'm just going to say right off the bat, Pisces, these two cards, this is the energy you're sitting with currently, the Fool and the Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful. This is a fresh start energy. This is getting ready to take the leap, getting ready to take the universe up on the offer of a new start. There's a sense of kind of surrendering. There's a sense of excitement and a sense of literally leaping into the new. Now, what your soul is illuminating for you at this time is perfect for this kind of energy because we have the Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands is a card of Sagittarius. We are entering into the season of Sagittarius as we move into the end of November and into December. So there's a sense of kind of perfect timing meeting up with you getting ready to kind of jump into the new, taking the Ace of Pentacles, which is something in the physical, this new start, and really getting ready to start to grow something from this new opportunity. But the Knight of Wands really speaks to freedom. This is the energy of the individual who wants to go out and find and work with what they're passionate about. This is the individual who's going to kind of go out on that big, grand, optimistic adventure. It can be someone who sometimes maybe might seem a little I wouldn't say untrustworthy, but someone who maybe is a little non-committal because they are so into doing what feels good in the moment. So there could be something here around really playing with this energy, looking at all sides of what that Sagittarian energy means to you. What does freedom look like to you? But freedom within the confines of really focusing your energy on this new, kind of opening yourself up at the same time as focusing yourself as well. There's a sense of almost like being able to keep your eye on the prize as you're going out into the new, ready to just go on that adventure. Now, your main underlying energy is the King of Swords. The King of Swords energy really speaks to sitting very firmly in a place of knowledge, of really understanding what you know and almost coming from a place of confidence in that. You know, the King of Swords can be a teacher type energy. It can be someone who also is able to really take a look at all the facts and be able to make a very fair and well thought out decision. Now, underneath that, we have the Hierophant, and we have a card that is unique to this version of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck that I use. And this card here, to me, always speaks to, it has a very similar energy to the Ten of Pentacles mixed with the Ten of Cups, for those of you who understand what I'm saying there with that tarot reference. There's a sense of bringing together a future vision of yourself, of the vision of yourself that you want to be in regards to what you want to have physically, that kind of legacy that you want to have, but also emotionally. You know, is there that tie to the future family or the future person that you're going to become? What is the feeling of what you want to pass down to future generations? There's also a strong focus on home and family with this. As you can see here, it looks like an elderly individual with maybe her grandkids around her and maybe her child in the background. And there's that sense of really kind of having that cozy, almost nostalgic feel for something that you yearn for, but that has yet to be experienced. Something, a nostalgia for the future, which is always, I find, an interesting kind of conundrum. Now, with the Hierophant, this can speak to the things that we commit to or the things that we choose to believe in and follow. These can be religious institutions. These can be governmental institutions, societal norms, laws, things like that. And there's a sense here for many of you, I think, of where there's almost a grounding of your belief system based on this future vision for yourself. And there's with the King of Swords coming in on top, it's almost like you understand now the knowledge, the awareness of almost your own truth and how to work with that as you move into the new. But there definitely is a focus on home, on family, and a belief system, maybe even a commitment to that for yourself. This could be even for some of you where maybe that is the new seed. Maybe you are committing to another individual. The Hierophant can sometimes speak to marriage. This could also be where some of you are committing to whatever this future vision for yourself is, and you're ready to go on that adventure to kind of make it happen. It's like you're aware of the truth, you're aware of what you know, and you're saying, okay, time to go out there with the Knight of Wands. He's ready to get on his horse, and he's ready to go out there and start to play with life again. Okay, let's go ahead here. Now, for some of you, this could even be where you might be even releasing yourself, which is interesting. There could be this sense of maybe you were tied to a home and family, or there was something here with the Hierophant where there was an element of maybe a past belief or a past contract, something that you chose to follow. This could be where you believed that you had to be the person who got married by a specific age and had X amount of children and had the home and it looked like this. And suddenly you're realizing, the truth, King of Swords, the truth of what I know about myself is that I don't need that. I can go out there and start anew. There's something kind of coming through. But for some of you, it could also be where you're discovering that is a part of your future and something you yearn for. And there's a commitment. It's almost like this recommitment to the self in one way or the other. Let's see. I'm going to pull some cards here. And this is where we're going to look at the block or the challenge. Okay, 3 of Cups. So that's your main point of challenge here, Pisces, is community, is support, is the celebration with others who openly, there's a sense with the 3 of Cups where people are coming together openly, vulnerably. I often get the feeling that, that these are people who are kind of all on the same page. There's a celebratory energy. But this can also speak to our community, or the groups that we choose to associate with, friend groups. These can be, coworkers. These can be our family members even. And with the Death card coming in right after that, there's a sense of kind of an ending of a way of possibly how you have, there could be the ending to a group of people you've been associated with for a long time. There could be a sense of having to release maybe even a way of being with others in this energy. Like, for instance, this could be where maybe the whole community that you were wrapped up in was all very family focused. And now you're realizing, wow, that's not really for me. They're all off starting to have kids and I am wanting to travel the world and start my own business. It could be the reverse. This could be where maybe you were really focused on the other side of things. Maybe you were the single person. You were the one going out with your coworkers every night after work. You were the one maybe going on those big lavish trips. And suddenly now you realize what really means a lot to you is having that home, that family, that legacy, and the new commitment to that, the new knowledge you have around that, is that might mean that you might have to walk away from a friend group, or, maybe you're not the person who's going to go out and party every night anymore, or you're not the person who's, going to only hang out with, the people who go to the bar or whatever it is. And there's a sense here of really having, with the Death card, having to release that so that you can welcome in this new start, this new community who will come in to support you as you go on this new adventure. Now, that can be difficult, right? It can be difficult to kind of realize that you might have to walk away from, long-term relationships or levels of support that you felt, were really there for you at some point. Now, the Emperor is coming in at the heart of your reading, and the Emperor seems to be coming in a lot from these readings right now, and it makes sense because the North and the South node of the Moon has just moved out of Taurus and Scorpio and into Aries and Libra, so we're all really getting firm in that. We're getting a taste of that Aries energy that's associated with the Emperor card here, that sense of really stepping into our own authority, our own autonomy in our life, kind of getting into the driver's seat a little bit and realizing, okay, what is me versus what is me in relationship to what I might sacrifice for the sake of relationships or for the sake of others. And so there's this sense here with the Emperor being at the heart of your reading. This is what Spirit's giving you as your advice to where to focus. Where is it time for you to step into that throne, to realize that you are the Emperor? We are each our emperor to our own empire. And what do you want your empire to look like? How do you want the people in your life to live? How do you want your own influence over your experience? What is that going to look like? And so there's a sense here of, I think for many of you, that's going to be the realization of where there is either a lack of a support system or there's a support system that really needs to be released. Now, I'm just going to say it. Sometimes the Three of Cups can speak to a third-party situation, meaning there's kind of someone else getting into the mix. It can speak to, as well, maybe overindulging in, let's say, drinking. And that could be something as well, where maybe there's a realization of having to maybe curb a behavior that is maybe not, again, in alignment with a future vision for yourself, this new start. It could also be where for instance, a third party doesn't always have to be someone cheating on someone else. This could be where there's another person of influence who might be getting in between you and another individual. This could be, a meddling parent. This could be a friend who is very judgmental and keeps coming in to, maybe you say, hey, I don't want to go out every night. And the person's like, oh, really? Well, is that because you want to start dating this new person? Well, it's like somebody gets into your ear and is making you maybe second guess taking this leap into the new. So, kind of keep that in mind as you're really thinking about getting to that level of true authority in your own life experience and following with the Hierophant your beliefs, your core beliefs, not what other people have told you to believe, but your core beliefs as you stand today. Because on the other side of that, we have the Magician and we have Temperance, two very positive cards. The Magician is a card of finding your magic again. Sometimes it can even be where you get a second chance to work with all the aspects of your life, but in a new way. With the King of Swords, what you know, Temperance. Temperance speaks to tempering two aspects of yourself, generally your emotions and your passions, and bringing those together and tempering them into a new way of doing, into a new way of living, into a new way of integrating emotional connection into your life through taking action on what you're passionate about. And I think for many of you, there's this realization of almost like waking up to your own magic again, but realizing that now with your past experience and then melding it into this future vision for yourself, you're realizing I can have a different experience and and that's going to come through your emotional connection. So, your emotional connection to this kind of happy family card here, this legacy card. There's a sense of connecting to that feeling of that future vision for yourself. But then with the Knight of Wands, there's that energy of going out there on the adventure, going out and finding what feels good. Trying new things. There's definitely that energy there, kind of opening yourself up to the new. The Fool and the Knight of Wands, very much fresh energy, opening yourself up to what can be, but from a place of authority. Sometimes I get the feeling when this kind of energy comes in that it's almost kind of like naive energy. It could be someone who's kind of like freshly starting out in life. There's a sense here of there's a lot of knowledge that's already been gained. And there's a sense as well that Spirit's kind of pointing you in that direction to say, trust what you know. Trust what you know. Trust that you have enough knowledge to take that leadership seat in your own life. and get ready to tap into a new aspect of yourself that you might not have discovered. And it's asking you to have that faith, to kind of open yourself up to the unknown, but in so doing in a way that feels fun and fresh. Because at the bottom of the deck here, for your second underlying energy, we have the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords speaks to having gone through a very painful experience, whether very recent or could have even been in the past, where it's taken you quite some time to really recover from that. And the Ten of Swords speaks to having gone through a very difficult cycle, but having gained a level of illumination, as you can see here. Even though this individual is being stabbed by 10 swords, he's gained a level of illumination, a truth about himself that he would not have understood or experienced without having gone through. That's the lesson, the beauty, the takeaway of having gone through that painful experience. And now the Ten of Swords is the wrap up of that. It's the finally releasing it, saying that cycle is over, and taking that sword of truth and sitting now on your throne with that knowledge about yourself, the truth, and the self-awareness. And for some of you with the Three of Cups and death, this could actually be death to a way of being in social groups. This could be where maybe you were always the one who was, maybe you second-guessed yourself in a friend group. Maybe you were the one who kind of, was made to feel, maybe you were never the one that took charge, or maybe, in your workplace environment, you were never the one that stood up and asserted what you knew, or, proposed that new project or that new idea. And there's a sense now of perhaps even a death to that way of being and how you interact with others, and especially how you interact with people, with your support systems, your support groups. There's a sense of really stepping into a more empowered role. Okay, so I'm going to pull some additional clarifiers here. So yes, we have the Magician coming in again here for the Three of Cups. Yeah, there's a sense of finding your own magic through the support systems you're going to be encountering. It's almost like coming in, showing up as a different person, which is very interesting. Then we have the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is scorpionic energy. It's the energy of the individual who is very much at peace with their emotions. They feel their emotions, they process them, they're very emotionally mature. And for some of you, this could be where you are coming into, support systems or friend groups or community-based, type settings. And you might be the one who's actually taking charge from that emotional place where you maybe at one point maybe had been the one who needed help and support from others, and you might now be the one who's able to lend that support, because that's what the King of Cups really speaks to, kind of being that paternal father figure, that individual who is emotionally stable, where others can come to them and really ask advice. The King of Cups can sometimes be seen as the spiritual advisor. So there's a sense here of maybe even stepping into kind of like an elder role within your community or within the groups that you are coming into. There's also a sense of just being the emotionally mature one. This could be also where you're finding groups that maybe as well they themselves are also emotionally mature, where you're kind of finding groups that fit who you are now. Okay, so we have the Ten of Wands and we have the Seven of Swords for the Death card. Now, the Ten of Wands did kind of come out reversed. I don't put reversals on my deck, but when they come out reversed, sometimes I'll leave them in that way. I'm getting the feeling of kind of both. Now, with the Seven of Swords coming in, that makes sense. That came out face down. There's a sense of like wanting to avoid putting down a unnecessary burden that you've long carried. And I think for many of you, what this burden is a way of being in relationships. Now, it might have been that maybe, you being a Pisces, you could have been highly empathetic, meaning that anytime you got into a social situation, you might have really carried the burden of the weight of other people's emotions. You might have gotten a little too maybe much into the drama or the gossip within social settings. It could also be that maybe you felt like in the past you had to be the one to maybe carry the whole experience, meaning that maybe, or it could have even been that you felt either burdened, that maybe your support systems were not actually supportive for you, that you had to do everything yourself and you couldn't fall back on support systems. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be coworkers. And there's a sense here now, though, of there's a knowledge around, that it's time to put down a way of a burden. I'm sorry, a way of being that is very burdensome to you. The Ten of Wands speaks to someone who has long carried a burden on their own. And as you can see here in this image, it's very precarious. That person can barely move forward now because of how much he has accumulated on his back to carry. And what it asks now is it asks for this individual to put that load down and to just pick up that one wand of his passion, his wanting to take action. It's the one wand that the Knight of Wands carries. The Knight of Wands can't go on that grand adventure when he's carrying around the rest of those wands. It's almost like you're having to put down baggage to be able to come into a more mature and more insightful and probably more intuitively connected way of engaging with others. And with the Seven of Swords, there's a sense here of kind of wanting to avoid that. Like, I don't know, I'm going to just keep carrying this burden around. I'm going to keep carrying the burden of insecurity, or I'm going to keep carrying the burden of I'll be the one to do everything for everybody else in the group with no reciprocity. It could be where, I'm trying to just think of other examples. I mean, those are pretty much the two basic examples of, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to take it on the burdens of everybody else, or I have a load that I need to put down and I'm not willing to ask for help, or I'm not allowing people in my life to be there for me. But I think for many of you, there's a chance to really find your magic now through your support groups. But in order to do that, you have to put your baggage down. You have to put the baggage from the past down. That's preventing you from really connecting, I think, authentically. So we have the Chariot coming out on the Emperor here, which is very interesting. We had a very similar energy come out for Sagittarius. So you could be dealing with the Sagittarius in your life as well. But there's so we have 9 of Coins, 9 of Pentacles, and 3 of Wands. The Chariot so the charioteer in the Chariot card is the Emperor. The Emperor gets into his chariot and he is ready to direct those horses in the direction of what feels ultimately like home, which would be very much this card here, this family, this legacy card. Now, with the 9 of Coins and the 3 of Wands, there's a sense of really wanting to pull towards you opportunities that are going to lead to your own physical abundance. There's a level of financial independence. And there's a sense here of really kind of getting into that driver's seat of your life and saying, okay, I'm going to make use of what I have in my life experience now, the comforts that I have, and I'm going to start to pull towards me opportunities that are in alignment with this level of abundance and independence I want to experience in my life. I mean, this could also just be where some of you are finally getting to that place of enjoying the fruits of your labor. And in so doing, you're going to actually open yourself up to new opportunities. Okay, so we have the Magician. So the Magician, we have the 4 of Cups. And there's the Emperor again. Okay, yeah. There's this sense here of taking control over your own emotions. Now, the 4 of Cups can speak to, it speaks to where we're kind of just like, we're emotionally disconnected from our life as it stands. Now, I've also started to really see this card come through recently as us feeling kind of like we're on the outside of a support group looking in. This is where we're kind of sitting there going, everybody else is going out every night and I'm the one stuck at home, or I'm the one working late, or everyone else is off celebrating and going on these great family vacations and I'm the one all alone. There's a sense of that. But the realization with the 4 of Cups is that you're looking at the 3 of Cups, but you're not bringing your own cup to the party. You're not looking at your cup. You're not looking at your own needs. This can actually be sometimes where we don't even realize, yeah, I'm watching everybody else on social media post about their lives, and I feel like I'm the only one that's not doing something along that line. And then you realize, but that's not even really what I want to do. Like I'm sitting here, looking at everybody else saying, oh, look at them going on their family vacations, but I don't even want to have a family. I actually want to hang out with people who want to go rock climbing and travel through Europe. And it's like saying, well, then it's time for you to get into the emperor seat and say, what is the community you want to connect to? If you're going to bring your cup to the party, what's in your cup first? And you have to emotionally connect to that. You have to know what your needs are. You have to know what you want. You have to know how to vulnerably bring yourself into support systems, into connecting with others. And when you stand in your authority in that way and you say, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is me unapologetically, there's a sense that that's where the magic kind of cracks open. And that magic, I think for many of you, is the realization that you can you're meant to kind of ascend almost to this level of elder status within a community group, or a level of maybe being a spiritual advisor, or someone who can be there to support others from a highly emotionally grounded and mature place. But it's almost like in the past you might have hid yourself from that because you didn't feel maybe like you were secure enough, or you didn't feel secure in your own beliefs or what you wanted. You might have just been kind of joining groups here and there. And now there's this sense of really ascending to what you want in your life through that, really getting into the energy of the emperor and really committing to this new start, but through your social groups, through how you connect with others. It's kind of like almost like joining the party of life again. Not even just joining the party, but joining the party of life. Now, with Temperance, we have the Queen of Swords and we have the Knight of Coins. The Knight of Coins is Virgo energy. It's one of careful planning. It's one of taking this seed and kind of looking towards the future of, what do I want to build with this? What is the groundwork I need? What's the plan I need to have to eventually have the harvest I want to bring in? And with the Queen of Swords, there's a sense here. Oh, we have the Knight of Wands again at the bottom of the deck. So we have the Queen of Swords coming in. She is the individual who knows her own story. She knows what she's gone through. She knows the trials and the tribulations. She knows what she's survived. And she's able to speak to that. And I think for some of you, there's this realization of being able to, with Temperance, when you're blending two things together, you blend the knowledge of what you know you've survived, of what you know you've gone through, with the King of Swords, of what you stand firm now in that wisdom of what you've gone through during this very difficult cycle that's now ended. And you bring that into this forward focus for what you want to build for yourself now. There's that sense of like, okay, I know what I'm capable of. It's almost like saying, I know what I know. And now I'm ready to take this leap based on a belief system that I've discovered about myself and going through this very difficult situation. I know what that represents around home and family, the legacy I want to experience, and I'm ready to take this leap of faith into the new. And I'm ready to do it with a sense of adventure. Knight of Wands again, coming in here as your third underlying energy, with a sense of, this time I'm going to go out there and I'm going to discover. I'm not going to carry the burdens with the 10 of Wands. I'm not going to carry everybody else's burden. And I'm not going to, this could be like realizing I don't want to work, 75 hours a week. I want to enjoy my life. I want to be able to celebrate with my family. I want to be able to see my friends. I want to be able to travel. And this is like saying, it's time then to put down that burden. You can find another job where you don't work 70 hours a week, or you can find a way to start to curb that back to where you're not working those excess hours, and start to build in a sense of that adventure of what else is waiting for me out there, what else is going to feel like fun and play. All right, so let's pull a final card for you here, Pisces. This is actually a very freeing reading. There's definitely that sense of not only being free, but also really stepping into your authority, power within your own life, kind of getting back in that driver's seat, and then in doing so, discovering your magic through others, through joining the party of life again. I don't know why I want to say it that way, but that's just how it's coming through. you bring the Knight of Wands into the Three of Cups, and that's a fun party. All right, let's see here. I'm just going to say it too, just for some of you. Now, this might be literally a message for just one or two of you, because it just came through very clearly, so I'm going to just put it out there. The Knight of Wands, again, can sometimes speak to someone who is unreliable. This could be the person who kind of keeps coming in and out of your life. But it can also speak, so you might be looking at the relationship of that in your own life experience. Like, where have you started something and then stopped and not followed through? And there might be the sense now, again, of committing to something new, and with the Virgo energy of the Knight of Pentacles, committing to something fully, like seeing the bigger picture and doing the step-by-step plan, but with a sense also of making sure that that's fun this time around. Allowing yourself to enjoy the process and maybe not to be burdened by it. But there's also a sense with the Gemini card of the Magician coming in with the King of Cups. This could represent an energy of someone. Now, they both came out upright, so this might not be the case, but there's a sense where this can sometimes become like an emotionally manipulative person or emotionally manipulative father figure in your life. That could be kind of that third party situation, or it could be an emotionally manipulative Scorpio in your life. So that could be someone who's kind of getting in the mix. So take that if it resonates for you, but that might need to be the burden that you put down, that there is someone in your life that is emotionally manipulative, either a father figure or a Scorpio in your life, that it's time to finally kind of disassociate yourself from them, and it's time to kind of ascend into the authority of what you want for yourself. And again, by putting down the burden of that, you get to ascend into the freedom of the Knight of Wands. I mean, there can be a much deeper scenario going on here for some of you, where if you did have some issues, maybe with a father figure in your life, there could have been a sense of maybe shirking responsibility, or you could have had a father figure in your life who maybe was shirking his responsibility. And there might be this kind of like interplay between your own behaviors against the behaviors of someone else in your life in that way. And now you kind of get to put that whole storyline to bed, and you get to now fully embrace the energy of play, fully embrace the energy of the adventure, and you get a fresh start, and a fresh start that is unencumbered and with a vision for your own future for yourself. Now you have two cards that came out, which is Spiritual Service, number 21, and we have Master Healing, number 33. I love these two cards. It's interesting too, because 21 breaks down to the number 3 in numerology, and then you have Master Healing number 33, which is a master number. Generally, we don't reduce those. So there's all threes, and threes are the number of divinity. It's the number of creativity. It's also the number of greeting life with the innocence of a child. There's a sense of just that pure creative essence that comes through with the number 3. Okay, so I'm going to read the little excerpt that comes with these guys here. So number 21, Spiritual Service. It says, self-doubt can be a habit that is hard to break. And that's what I was kind of experiencing. There's just a level of self-doubt, I think, for some of you that has crept into some of your relationships or support groups. And it's almost like you're being told now, don't doubt yourself, trust yourself. Okay, it says it can slow down your spiritual progress and the fulfillment of your life purpose. Ultimately, it won't stop you, but it can make your progress seem more challenging. It's easier to fulfill your purpose when you acknowledge your own goodness and talent and do what you love to the best of your ability. Realize that you are enough, that your work is good, and that you have something of value to offer. It is time to let go of a fear of failure, concern about your ability, and your right to live a happy and fulfilled life of success. The universe believes in you. Love that. And now let's look at Master Healing for number 33. It says, as you meditate, remain true to what inspires your heart and commit to your spiritual path. You become an increasingly powerful healer. You are here to live your own life, to be true to what genuinely moves you. The unconditionally loving guide and ascended master, Serapis Bey, comes to you now with the blessing of master healing to further your success on your path. Let's see here. It says, the Master Serapis Bey is a beloved guide for those who feel a strong soul connection to ancient Egypt, for healers who are developing their own modalities, and those who love to work with high-frequency concepts. He also assists with the translation of spiritual inspiration into practical worldly plans, which is beautiful because we have like the inspiration here with, again, that Virgo energy of the Knight of Pentacles. That's the practical worldly plan. He comes to confirm that the Ascended Masters are aware of you. You are an integral part of a powerful spiritual team that has taken physical incarnation to help awaken consciousness into love. You are asked to tune into your heart. What do you love enough to overcome any obstacle to attain it? What motivates and inspires you? Not what seems possible or practical, but what is authentic. We are most powerful when we serve authentically from the heart. A bird might learn how to dive underwater from time to time, but it is never going to be at its most powerful if it has to live underwater. It would struggle to thrive if it were to force itself into such unnatural expressions of its life energy. The bird yearns to fly because that is its divine nature and purpose. You too have divine nature and purpose, and your heart holds the clue. What feels most like you? I'm going to leave it there, Pisces, but I think that's a beautiful way to end this. This is really saying, after everything that you've gone through, what is the vision of your future self that feels most like you? What is the adventure your heart wants to go on? What is this future vision that holds true to you? All right, I will leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you'd like to book a personal reading to take a look at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time, to help you gain better clarity in an area of your life, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next illumination reading.